Welcome to my channel, Get Legit. I want to thank all my new subscribers. I want to wish all the mothers happy Mother's Day and all persons who raise children, who have influence over children. Happy Mother's Day. I do hope you have a relaxing and enjoyable day. I want to discuss today as it relates to Melody and Martel. I want to speak as it relates in particular to Martel crossing over into or over Love and Marriage Huntsville. I think it's a very important discussion and one that I feel warrants us basically looking at it to get an idea as it relates to, is it beneficial to him? I just need to get to the relevant video. I want to have this discussion because while I believe the intent behind it was for Martel to be seen in a positive light and for him to gain national access, more access than he already has on Love and Marriage Huntsville, I don't think it's going well for him. I don't think it's going in a positive light for him. But I want to start with a statement that I heard Dr. Francis said when he was on Anthony Lofty's channel. And he made reference and similar, the words, I don't have the exact quote words that he said, but he said something similar to, divorce does not end your feelings for one another. It's like you divorce the bad behavior, but the person is still there. So he basically was saying, Martha still wants Melody, and Melody still is struggling with things as it relates to Martel. And so divorce, it's not what we would want to think final, like you just cut it and you go on your way as if the person never existed. I mean, we're all human beings. That's not what happens, right? We do know that there are times you might hear a song or smell a perfume or a cologne, or like today's Mother's Day. So maybe the person would do something on Mother's Day that you don't get to enjoy anymore. And so while you are divorced, you're still tied to that individual, and even more so tied when you share children. So I just want to have this discussion as it relates to this couple. And even though they're not together, I refer to them as a couple. In my opinion, Martel's storyline on Love and Marriage Huntsville, of his cheating, his treatment towards Mel during the marriage, his pandemic indiscretions, his treatment towards Mel after divorce, using his children plus having a baby with his side chick while still married, will always be brought up on any reality show or the like that he goes on. And we already saw that when it comes to Kenya. And I believe the more he's out there, the more he talks, the more he does. And the fact that he's not trying to bring himself in a positive light will always lead people to not trust him, dislike him, and research him. Okay, so being on Housewives of Atlanta could have been a moment for us to see him in a different light, where he's just a man starting to date or befriend, because 1 minute they're dating, next minute they're just friends enjoying each other, whatever that is. But to see him in a different light, where he's just the man starting to date someone, a love interest. But instead, he made the decision to show us that he is ratchet from the start. So it left fans with no other light to see him in other than the same queenish acting person who wants attention. We saw him, I mean, this is his first appearance there. He's walking in, he looks the part, looks dapper, but his actions, it's not what he dressed. The appearance is all that, but the inner, it's just something else. So Martel HOLT being on Housewives of Atlanta not only has given him a bigger audience viewing him and learning about who he is, but it has also given his ex-wife Melody HOLT or Melody Shari a bigger audience as well. And the same way people are finding out things about Martel, I'm sure they're also finding out things about Melody and who she is. People might understand why the millimeters love her so much, understand why the people who watch the show appreciates her sharing her life, appreciates seeing her journey, appreciates her glow up. that she has survived this person. All right. So while he is there and he's talking and doing all what he's doing, there will never be a divorce, in the sense that nobody will talk about Melody when they see a Martel, or nobody will talk about Melody when Martel is on any show or on doing any panel or anything of that sort. It always goes back to Melody. And while that marriage was for years, and of course there were beautiful times, they have 4 beautiful children, the bad, the negative, his negative behavior overshadows all of that. And I think, and I hope maybe one day we're going to reach a stage where we're seeing a version of Martel being played out on these shows where, oh, he used to be a good husband. Oh, he used to be this kind of husband with his wife. He has to find a way to redeem himself, but he's not going about it the correct way, because whatever he's doing, he's just making enemies. All right. So, and as much as they're finding out about Melody too, they're also finding out about the side chick, who the side chick was, or whatever status she's in now. I don't know if she's still currently with him, whatever it was. But people would be interested in Melody and Ariane, and oh, Ariane has a baby, and when she had that baby. And while they might look at it and say, oh, the millimeters or the bloggers who talk about this show were going in, you might be surprised to know that maybe new bloggers who are open to to Housewives of Atlanta might very well find themselves digging into, oh, who is Martel? And so here you have another platform with greater viewing that will be discussing his infidelity from Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I'm saying that because he's not doing anything to redeem himself. He's not doing anything to show himself in a different light. From the get-go, he's sitting there with Sherry talking about Candy, who is I believe one of the original cast of Housewives of Atlanta, and talking about Candy's husband. So I wanted to say that, so while Carlos King may have hoped Martel's being on Housewives of Atlanta would have boosted his image in a positive way, Martel is the only person who could make that decision as to how that goes. And we've seen he has made that decision. So Martel being Martel is not just the Mel effect. That's what we're seeing now. He's not just being mean-spirited. He's not just being just drama because he had issues with his ex-wife or because they were in that situation. But we're seeing him on a whole different platform, whole different cast, but the same person. That is not an accident. I believe that is just who he is. And so while we have longed to see the cast from Love and Marriage Huntsville hold him accountable and just be tough with him and let him understand this is what you're doing and this is what it looks like, in a way, I'm glad that Kenya is doing that. But we would have loved to see it on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I think Kenya telling him once a cheater, I was a cheater, you piece of, says a lot. And so his debut, he's talking smack about Candy and Todd, who he really doesn't know from what we've seen, is not plus for him because Candy is a day one cast member. So if he was being strategic, to my mind, being on another reality show with more visibility should have been on his mind, not the churlish comments about height of Todd and being an opportunist. He made enemies of these people now. I know they make up and they might make up, but for now, he has made enemies. And so it could very well extend not only the bloggers, the people who watch the show, the people who view it, the people who research it, the people who are invested in it, the same way we are, in a sense, invested in Love and Marriage Huntsville. They might be looking at the entire cast and say, what are you guys about? What is going on here? You understand? So I started to wonder if that could be the reason why he didn't want the Eminem kids on reality TV, because he has no intention to show a positive side of himself. So that if he's showing a positive side of himself, then you're going to have the children involved in that. I don't know. But from the get-go, he's been there. What we have The negatives, the US Sun article on his debts. More bloggers finding out who he is, more people researching and digging on into his background. Allegations, the allegation that came out on the last episode of Housewives of Atlanta for another woman in Atlanta. More people knowing his past with the side chick, and so a newfound interest in his past that most Love and Marriage Huntsville fans already know and tired of hearing, but now a new base to talk about it. So you're going to be on a new show, a different show, not a new show, but a different show, but the same issues following you. He's only been associated with BDE, muscles, thirst trap behavior instead of a man, a man's man. Possibly he's having more children, could be revealed if he has more children. That could be a thing as well, because a bigger platform, more visibility means more people looking into you. So people looking into him could, in my view, spill over to other cast members. Remember, we always wanted to know what was up with Marcel. Well, who knows, right? You could wear a suit. You could dress nice. You could even be the spokesperson for your own suit line or bring out your own suit line. But if it depends on how you intend to use it. If you intend to just wear a suit and be a clown, then join the circus. Join the circus. But for now, it seems as though he just wants to be the ringleader, the headmaster for both shows. He has not shown us anything different, but expects us to change our narrative when it comes to him. How can we? We're not seeing a different Martel. Yeah, he laughs more, but that looks so forced that we don't even believe it, right? But let's see. Let's hope and pray Martel HOLT will give us something different. Maybe Martel HOLT will change his ways and become the man that Melody could change her statement and say how to have him the father of her children. Because as much as she made that comment, it's sad when you reach that point. It's sad that you would say something or have to say something of that nature on national television, because God blessed you with those children. Irrespective of who the father is, you chose them, right? But I get where she's coming from as it relates to a queen. And I would like to hear more from her as it relates to that statement, because those children love their fathers. Those children love their fathers. They have demonstrated that over and over again. And so perhaps Melody would one day do a live and explain more to us, for the sake of the children, what she meant by it. What's such a drastic statement? Perhaps. Until then, we can only wait. But to my mind, while she's hurt, while she's upset, while he is being a clown, while he is acting like a drama queen, you don't want to seem as though you're regretting anything that God blessed you with. You have those perfect children. Takes two. It wasn't one. It took two to make them. So let's wait and see. But until then, thank you for listening, watching, and please do subscribe. Please do comment and share the video. Until then, goodbye.